Okay. I'm here to talk food tonight. If it's gonna go live. Loading, loading. There we go. Sweet. Okay, cool. Because I've had lots of people message me asking me about all this sort of thing. I think because I've been putting more of my food stuffs on my stories too, just food that I've been eating and all that sort of jazz. So I'm just checking that this is live. Oh, it is. I'm just going to share this thing in a sec. Okay. Let me share. Let me share. All right, cool. It seems to be a hot topic at the moment. Food. Food where? Yeah, I'm hungry. I just had my dinner. So if you check my story on Messenger, Facebook, Instagram or Snapchat, you will see what I had for dinner. So has anybody got any questions about dinner or foods or, I don't know, anything about anything? Please comment below. Gonna wait to see if any questions come through about food before I start talking. Because it's a very hot topic at the moment and I feel called to talk about it because I'm like, there's so much to talk about. I'm like trying to write a message. I'm like, I'm just going to do a live stream on it because there's so much to say about it. So I'm just going to wait for some comments to come through about the food. Looks like it's on an angle. It's annoying me. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just... Is my Virgo perfectionist streak coming out? Alright, food is life, yeah. The magical thing that makes us lose weight is what I want to talk about as the key thing. So, go vegan. Well, you better not check my story then. I was vegan for quite some time and it worked for me for a time and I still do bits of fasting and stuff like that, but I don't know, I'm not 100% vegan, no, and it doesn't work for my body. Maybe over a long period of time, but yeah, not right now. Yep, see you at Grassmere or Glenline or Mulberry Vale or wherever food is. Yeah, I had some lamb tonight. Lamb always takes me back home and back to Nana's house. I always remember. This is interesting talking about this actually. Hard work and a balanced diet is key. Cool. I want everybody's opinions on food. Please keep commenting because I'm gonna talk, but I want everyone's opinions on food and dieting and fasting or not fasting, or if you're vegan or not, or I don't know. I want people's questions if you've got questions about food. So please comment below. I've got a lot to say, but definitely curious about people's questions or anything about this sort of food topic because it's really big at the moment. But yeah, like that. So everybody probably doesn't realize. So Robin, who's commented there. Yeah, I know you do, Robin. So Robin was on a neighbouring station when I got a chef watching. Awesome, okay. Yeah, so Robin was on a cattle station when I was a kid, out in the bush. And for me, sell my car, buy a juicer. I've already got a juicer and a car because I believe in abundance, and I do believe that the more abundant I feel, the more abundant life is for everybody. So I'm talking about, I just had lamb for dinner. and I like lamb for me. Yeah, lamb reminds me of home too, Tammy says. So I guess for me, because it was like my nana at Sabina Street in Broken Hill, when I was a kid, I would always go there, and two chefs, and yeah, and just, you know, it's just a memory. And I always remember in oh, I can't remember who wrote it or what the book is. It's a vegan type book, actually, raw food book, actually, and I can't fucking think of the author at the moment, but it's I remember him saying, you know, because there's, you know, like when we crave certain foods, there's kind of different threads about why we crave certain foods, and I know that at the core, one of them is definitely the emotional, you know, part of it, yeah? Like, for me, it's like when I feel like lamb, I know my body and my blood type do appreciate lamb, but at the same time, I know it's a home thing, it's a home connection thing, yeah? So my nana, even my dad used to cook lots of roast lambs as well, and, you know, there's certain foods that my mum cooked that, you know, when I like eat them, I'm like crave that as well. And it is the connection, yeah, the emotional connection about that. So, the other thing I wanted to say about that is, okay, so the first thing I want to say about this food thing, and I see all the comments, I love them, I'll respond to them in a moment. There's, so when we're talking about food, and the reason I really wanted to talk about this, because so many people were messaging me and asking all this stuff, and I'm saying all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, it's just so relevant, right? And because of what I'm about to talk about, I'm putting a bonus module into the Calling in Your Soulmate, which is all about food, fasting, you know, how to get the body you want, and look the way you want to look, because it's all related to sacral chakra. I'm going to put all lots of details in there about fasting foods, exercise, diet, like the whole fucking, you name it, right? Because ultimately it's sacral chakra, and our sacral chakra is where we're nourished at our core, and it's our belly, yeah, and I speak about this a lot, and it's just so relevant at the moment because our sacral chakra is where we're, you know, we fill ourselves up. Yeah, I'll sit with that, Tammy, for sure. So yeah, so when we're eating and we're, you know, we're filling ourselves up and up and up and up, it's like, you know, it's our belly and, you know, fully eating the food, right? And on a spiritual level, I guess, is, you know, when you're eating and eating and eating and you don't feel full, and you overeat and then you feel shit and, you know, that sort of thing. There's a couple of different threads here, right? So one of them is when we're eating and eating and eating, we don't feel full. One, we're not nourished properly, and I'm going to talk about the magic soul food that magically makes you lose that stubborn weight very shortly. You know, the other thing and factor in that is that, you know, when we're kind of overeating, or, you know, and I'm using food, but it could be over drinking, over busyness, over whatever your kind of addiction is that makes you cover up feelings. They're your kind of key, you know, whatever that is. It doesn't matter what that is that you put in your mouth or keep busy or whatever. You're avoiding some kind of feelings. And usually we avoid some feelings simply because we are like, one, we could be clouded by somebody else's feelings and energy. So if you're a sensitive person, if you follow my work, you're probably a highly sensitive person or an empath of some sort. And we take on other people's energies very easily if we don't know how to, you know, take care of ourselves, fill ourselves up, and have that distinguishable knowledge about how to separate our energy from somebody else's, and when we're feeling somebody else's energy, and how to follow those threads, and how to, you know, move through and go, you know, track those threads. So that's, you know, if we're carrying somebody else's energy, you know, like anxiety is a big part of this as well. I do believe that anxiety is too much energy of somebody else's energy in your heart. It's not even yours. And so it's like trying to process, and like it's too much energy in the heart. So that can, you know, whether it's in your heart and it, you know, you're suffering from anxiety around that, it's also, you know, like as a complete body, you know, like, and you just feel not yourself, then you'll be covering that feeling up with food or alcohol or whatever your addiction is, right? So with that, it's kind of like when we are clouded by somebody else's energy with that, then it's very easy to overeat. It's very easy to overdrink. It's very easy to, you know, eat more food than you usually do, or, you know, like just feel like shit and you're just not sure, so you'll just eat or you'll drink or whatever you'll do, right? So it's a very, you know, common thing because it's the sacral chakra, yeah, and it's where we're nourished or not. So I talk about this so much because it's the sacral chakra, yeah. And with, you know, like fasting, intermittent fasting, and, you know, everything in between, it's like, you know, I've been and done a lot of food stuff. So I've done a lot of food stuff. So I've gone fully vegan, like raw vegan, and, you know, it really helped me at the time because I did full 3 months, 100% raw food. And well, basically that was spurred on because the doctor told me I had to get my gallbladder out, and I said, well, no, thank you very much. And I did a raw food detox by listening to Marcus Rothkranz's stuff, and basically my gallbladder's still where it is, because I do believe, you know, if you take an organ out, then, you know, the energy of that organ still sits there, and the metaphysical reason that's going on is still there too. So I'm just going to check these comments. Oh, I remember how to do this. I did it the other day, so I can see the full comments, and then I'm going to go into more about that. So if you just joined my live stream, I'm happy to hear any comments you've got around food or fasting or questions or anything like that. I'm not a nutritionist, by the way. This is from my own personal experience. So my disclaimer is listen to your own intuition about what food stuff you need to eat. Okay, so, all right, so just checking these comments here. Hard work and a balanced diet, yeah. Okay. So we've got some chefs watching. All right, Kristen says, I love food. I could eat it all the time. But after my cleanse, yes to your title, there is more food our soul needs than food. So many more nurturing things we can do to feed us. Exactly, right? So if the key magical kind of you know, soul food there, the magical ingredient is what is nourishing your soul. Yeah, that is the ultimate thing about how you will lose weight, how it's easy to not crave foods either. You know, there's a difference between craving food for something that you need, you know, that your body nutritionally needs, and a craving for an emotional need. Yeah, and when you start to really tune in and hone in, you're able to really distinguish it quite easily. Yeah. So yeah, so I was talking about the different foods, you know, to the threads, because when I read that vegan book, I can't fucking remember what it's called. Oh, it's an Ayurvedic raw food book. It's a really good one. I borrowed it from my friend. I need to get it for my library. But I remember reading in there, you know, when he was starting to go on his raw food journey, that, you know, maybe one day I'll go back raw food because I actually really liked it. But just right now it's not serving me at this moment in time. But he was talking about in the book about, you know, when he was transitioning to 100% raw, that he'd have the cravings, you know, and this happens when we do some sort of a cleanse or, you know, whether it's fasting or intermittent fasting or some other, you know, detox that you do physically for food, you will have cravings for food, right? When you cut a food out, then basically you will know, you know, you start craving foods. Right? I'm sure all of us have craved foods at certain times. And especially when we do some sort of detox or fasting or whatever it is we're called to do intuitively, then, you know, we'll be like, oh my God, craving this food. I also want to eat this food. So even after my 3 month raw food, you know, detox that I did, I didn't plan to do 3 months. It's just how long I ended up doing. At the end of the 3 months, and you know that like 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, like there's something about the 3 is kind of the tricky point. Well, at the end of my 3 months, all this emotional shit happened, and I was just like, at that point, like it was weird, the cravings I went through over that 3 month period, and then like I was craving like greasy, fatty Macca's food, and I hadn't eaten that shit in years. And I know when your body's kind of getting rid of stuff, we can crave like weird things like that too. And you know, if you're doing any sort of fasting or detox, make sure you read up about it and trust yourself with what you're called to do and who to follow, or go and get some professional advice to do it first. But yeah, and then I, you know, and what it was for me at that point in time is I listened, okay, and I wrote about this, I blogged about it this morning actually, and on Monday, so I think there's a lot of threads going along at the moment about this. I listened to what other people said outside of me about my detox that I was doing, rather than continuing to listen to myself, and basically I fell off the bandwagon, I guess. So everything happens for a reason. Long story short, basically I'm saying there that when we are craving certain foods, there's a difference between a actual physical need for your body to have a certain nutrient and then emotional, right? And when we can tune into what is actually needed in our body, we can, you know, we can sustain ourselves healthier. Now, the other key to this, right? The pure key, right, in the magical, you know, soul food to lose weight is like, I've done a lot of fasting, detoxing, cutting out foods and stuff. When it's, and to be honest, like when I've done it, I don't know, like it's really distinguishable to like doing it out of force and to it naturally happening. Like, lately, I've been intermittent fasting, which is, you know, and I call it intermittent fasting, but at the same time, it's not really intermittent fasting. I call it intuitive eating, intuitive living or fasting, I don't know. Basically, you know, my mornings and my days have looked something like, you know, drinking lots of water, obviously. But, you know, I'll have a coffee in the morning and a Bliss Ball or a protein bar or something like that. Usually it's coffee and a Bliss Ball. And then I won't kind of eat till lunchtime. And then at lunchtime I'll have some sort of meat. It's been lately some sort of meat and steamed veggies. Just really simple, you know, like, I don't know, I haven't... My main thing has been cutting out kind of the grains, so no rice or wheat or anything like that, and that in itself's made a huge difference, because I know, and I say this all the time, and a lot of it's come up in the readings that I've been doing for people too, so it's a big thread at the moment, like when you're going to cut something out of your diet, especially if you've got other emotional stuff going on in your life or big situations happening in your life, like don't go and try and change your whole fucking diet, because it's like, it's too stressful unless we're on like a tropical island where we can get massages and we can sleep and we're at a retreat center, you know, like it's pretty hard to do a like full fast, right? And when, you know, like you can just cut one thing out, you can feel good about yourself because you're managing that, right? It's like, for me, it's like, you know, I'm naturally not even really thinking about food. I know at the moment supporting me is having meat, whether that's lamb, beef, pork, whatever, with some veggies, or I don't know, the other day I only had mince and eggs, so I don't know, I'm obviously eating a lot of protein, but I'm not really having anything else, and that feels right for me right now. That could change. I mean, I did 3 months raw, you know, like pure raw, and I eat a lot of raw food usually, but right now this is what I'm eating and this is what's right for me. And the whole thing about, you know, the soul food, you know, the magic soul food that makes you lose weight, to be honest, I haven't even really been thinking about food, you know, like for me, chucking a piece of meat in the oven, letting it slow cook, and then going and eating it is really fucking simple. And the other things that I've been focusing on is my soul food, and that soul food is my business, is my work. The other parts of my soul food are surfing, laying in the sun for hours on fucking end, you know, the things that fill you up, right? And this is the soul food that, you know, when we are nourished at our core, so if you're eating and eating and eating, you don't feel full, or you're eating and you feel sick, and you're eating and you're like, fuck, I wish I didn't eat that, and it's like all this focus on food, it's like, you know, the magical ingredient to losing weight is to not even, you know, like to... It's like not trying to concentrate on food. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is that I've been so focused on my business, on, you know, doing my soul's calling, my life purpose, if you may, feeding my soul with sun, laying at the beach, doing fuck all, even though I was writing blogs and shit in the sun, because it's not that I'm not doing anything. It's, you know, like that's how I work, and it's following that, you know, soul calling. It's following what fills you up, because when you are focusing on what fills you up spiritually, so I don't know, it could be yoga, it could be nature walking. For me, it's surfing, laying in the sun. For, you know, I don't know, like find what your soul food is. And ultimately, my soul food is my life purpose. It's turning up on live streams, it's blogging, it's writing, it's my creativity, it's creating online courses, you know, like that is my soul food. And if I'm not doing that, that's when I start overeating. That's when I start putting on weight, yeah? When I am doing my life purpose, food, I don't even think about it. I honestly don't even think about it. It's just like, you know, just intuitively thinking, you know, not even intuitively thinking. It's just intuitively doing and being, and it's simple, yeah? So I'm just reading the rest of the comments. If you've got any questions about food or anything like that, please message me. I mean, please comment. I'm just checking these comments here. So, okay. So Cass says, sell your car and buy a juicer. Kristen said, so I can have a car and a juicer. Yes, because I'm saying that I can have a car and a juicer because, yeah. So abundance is omnipresent, just like love. Yes, definitely. So Narissa says, Whole Foods, occasionally treats, no red meat, 35 kilo loss over 18 months. Yeah, that's fucking awesome, yeah? Whole Foods, definitely, and that's kind of the key, you know? Even though, like I say that, and I'm like, well, actually, I've been eating protein bars and stuff, you know? Just, I've never really eaten protein bars in my life, and, you know, they just kind of has been working for me lately, so... Kristen says, I'm German and would love to go vegan, but I like sausages. Yep, same. So yeah, so I haven't really been eating much dairy, except tonight I had camembert cheese just because I felt like it. Alright, so Cass says, I went raw vegan for 2 months and followed Marcus and Dan Life Regenerator. Ooh, I haven't heard of that. Is that Marcus Rothkrantz? Yeah, I have heard of Freelee, the banana girl. I have heard of her, yep. Okay, where did you get your juicer from? I want a cold press one. Yes, I can put you in touch with someone who can get you one for sure. Love for raw food too, yeah, yum yum, yeah. And that's the thing, and you know, like all that, you know, if you feel called to do a detox of any sort, is, you know, definitely, you know, following where you feel called to go. Because I know when I first started, you know, I know I've done live streams on food before, but it just felt so important to talk about. So many people are messaging me right now, and I'm like, okay, I'll talk about it again. Yeah, you're welcome, Kristen. Yeah, Marcus Rothkrantz, he's awesome. I fucking love him. He's really love his work. So, you know, and it's this thing, you know, you get onto one person and they speak about someone else and it puts you on another person. You just kind of got to follow, you know, your intuition and where you're being called to go. But definitely, you know, because of all this and because it's the sacral chakra, and in Calling in Your Soulmate, it is the sacral chakra, I am specifically doing a specific bonus module for Calling in Your Soulmate, which is all about food, you know, losing the weight that will make you feel better, look better, and the magical ingredient that, you know, and how to do that, and, you know, finding out what your soul food is, because sometimes it can be tricky, and we're like, well, we're doing all these things but I'm still not losing the weight, and it's like, well, let's dig a little bit deeper here. So, you know, but I tell you, when you do, you know, step onto life purpose and, you know, like you do find that soul food, it magically falls off. It doesn't, you know, like it's just, you don't even think about it, right? Because you're so busy, not busy, but you're so, you know, full from, you know, your soul's work. There's the cravings aren't there, you know. So when you're clear in your energy field, when you're not carrying other people's energy, when you're clear and separate in what you're doing and being and feeling, and, you know, where you're going and what you're being called to do, you know, that's you're full. There is no need to do that. Yeah, it's a very different feeling. Yeah, the Life Regenerator. Yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. Thanks for sharing that, Cass. So yeah, so I'm a bit excited that that's now a bonus module in the Calling in Your Soulmate. So I'm going to post a link to Calling in Your Soulmate in the comments because that early bird is open and it's starting on the 21st of September. Thanks, Cass. Appreciate that. So yeah, 21st of September, we start that. So like what's that, 22 days away, because we're just about to tick over to September, which is a little bit exciting, moving into spring here, even though it doesn't really feel like we've had a winter. It's been a bit weird. I'm wondering if we're going to get another cold snap or whether it's going to start to warm up now. So I'm already wearing a summer dress. So, so dear Louise Hay has passed away, as everyone's probably seen on Facebook. So I wanted to speak to that as well. So losing weight slowly is also better for the body and reduces the risk of permanent damage to both your body and mind. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the other part of that is, you know, is when we are unpacking emotionally. So when we're doing our inner work, right? This is kind of the other core thing. It's like when we're doing our inner work, you know how I said to you that the food you eat is the emotional threads. You know, when you crave a certain food, it's the emotional connection, yeah? So like reminds you of home or something like that. When, you know, like we are in situations that are, one, not on life purpose or not healthy for us, or, you know, we're avoiding something in our life, that's when we'll pack on the weight, because it's protection, right? It's protection. And we can get so far into the protection that we get lost and we forget who we really are. So when we start doing the inner work, you know, then we unpack emotionally, so the weight naturally falls off. So you might see these people go on these weight loss journeys and then they, you know, finish it, like, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but some TV shows, or I don't know, some places, some people lose weight easier than others. You know, some people lose all this weight and then they put it back on again. You know, if they haven't worked on the emotional issues that are, you know, packing on the weight to start with, then that's going to come back, you know. It's the same thing as getting an organ removed. Like if I got the gallbladder removed that the doctor told me to and I said no, then you know, like the energy of that gallbladder is still there. So I'm still going to be suffering from the same emotional problems. Removing the physical thing doesn't really do anything unless you're actually going to do the emotional work that started in the first place. So as we talk about the metaphysics, here we are with Louise Hay. I'm just going to change this around because I forgot to do it before. So Louise Hay pretty much changed my life and zillions of people around the world. If you haven't seen today, she passed away. And this is like the metaphysical understanding of the emotions, basically, of why you've got certain body issues. Now, I love Louise Hay. This book changed my life. I highly recommend it to anyone who's never read it before. If you're into the spiritual stuff and you haven't read it, be very surprised. Yeah, I can put a link in for sure. This, you know, is basically, you know, what am I saying here? When we're looking at the emotional stuff, so what I was talking about with speaking to your comment there, Matt, losing weight slowly is also better for the body and reduces the risk of permanent damage to both the body and mind. So there's a reason that there's weight packed on in a certain area. So whether it's stomach or hips or, you know, gut or whatever like that, there's a reason that your shoulders sore. There's a reason that your throat loses its voice. There's a reason that, I don't know, your foot sore or something, right? And, you know, part of being an intuitive healer is being able to tune into the body, and this book and this book are pretty much like my Bibles. So, you know, The Secret Language of Your Body by Ines Segal and Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. These books, like in here, okay, so if anyone's got a physical problem or physical ache or pain or something going on, please comment below and I will tune into it for you via using these books. Because if you've got readings from me, you'll know that if you have got physical stuff going on, I do pull these out. I do talk about them in my readings because it helps the understanding and the metaphysical, and then all the intuitive stuff flows as well. So I'll wait to see if any comments come through about any physical issues. In the meantime, these books I love. I bought these 12 years ago when I first got into all this spiritual stuff. This Louise Hay was a gift box collection. So there's like a workbook, there's a Meditations to Heal Your Life, and then there's You Can Heal Your Life. And I love these books. So while I'm waiting for any comments to come through, I'm going to randomly open up this book, because you can use this like an oracle card. I'll show you in a second. So, okay, so one Okay, so I'm going to ask for an affirmation, a thing to honor Louise Hay's life and what, just kind of in honor of her, basically. Look at this one. So I love this book because you can open it and it's beautiful, beautiful things on here like this. So I'm going to read this out. So I just asked as one for I don't know, to honor Louise Hay. It says, I have a prosperity consciousness. I have inherited a great treasure, the love in my own heart. The more I share this treasure with others, the richer I become. Prosperity begins with feeling good about myself. If I do not feel good about myself, I cannot really enjoy anything. My home, my car, clothing, friends, health, and bank account are only reflections of my thoughts about myself and what I believe I deserve. No matter where I am or what is happening, I can change my thoughts and beliefs. True prosperity is never an amount of money, it's a state of mind. My mind is now open to receiving prosperity. Once a day, I stretch my arms out open wide and say, I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance of the universe. Thank you, life. I always have everything I need. I have a prosperity consciousness. These affirmations, so when I bought these books, and I wrote about this in my blog on, I don't know, was it Monday or whatever, when I was sitting at the beach, that when I first got into all this stuff, when I was 21, I wrote down, for some reason I had all these little cards, so it wasn't, how's all my, like my desk right now? I've just got all these little affirmations on post-it notes here. So I still do it. So back then I had all these little cards, I guess they were like post-it notes, but it's like, I had all of these, I had these books, and I read this book, and I was like, fuck, okay. So I wrote out a zillion affirmations, and if you, Megan, my best friend I was living with for 2 years, saw my my wardrobe doors in our apartment go from like rave posters and festival posters to just like affirmations of Louise Hay, like no fucking joke. And it's all these. It was like, I always have everything I need. I have a prosperity consciousness. I'm open and receptive to all the good and abundance in the universe. One power created us all. Financial security is a constant in my life. There is only one intelligence. I am safe. Enlightenment is a 24-hour-a-day job. I employ positive thoughts. I love my car. I flow with life easily and effortlessly. Any disease I have is a valuable teacher. I am open to the most splendid experiences. I am a decisive person. I decide to go beyond my present limited human mind thinking, yes, I can. All these sort of affirmations were like plastered all over my walls. And because I was doing my spiritual course at that time, I would get up in the morning, I would say them all. There was so many, it took so long. And I did it a few times a day for like months on end while I was living there. It would have been about 6 months when I was living there doing that. And, you know, like that is a... You know, like they talk about journaling these days. I do a lot of journaling these days. You know, but back then I just would say them over and over again. And then they become your thought patterns and the way that you think. And it starts to shift your brain neural pathways and you start to open. And what happens when you change your thoughts? Your life starts changing, because what we think about, we start feeling. And what we feel, we start changing and attracting in our life. So this was huge. And, you know, talking about that prosperity consciousness, it is a consciousness, right? It's a state of how you feel, because when you feel shit, you fucking hate everything. You're not grateful or anything for anything. But when we feel good and when we think positively, you know, like we've got a different mindset. We see things in a different light, right? I'll post a link right now about the affirmations, because I just sent that to someone actually. I just sent it to someone, here we go, for one of the tarot readings yesterday. Let's post it in the comments right here. Oh, Narissa, you would have seen it. I wonder if you saw my wardrobe. You were there too. Those days were so long ago. It was like 14 years ago, 12 years ago, 11, 12 years ago. You were there. I forgot. Okay, there's more comments come through. Sorry, I haven't seen them. Okay, so Debbie says beautiful. Yeah, you remember. I love those days. It was so much fun. I've been reminiscing about that stuff so much lately. What is it? Oh, like I've been listening to all my breaks and drum and bass today. I don't know what that is. Maybe I was quite happy at that time in life too. All right, so okay, so we've got some things here. Let's do some intuitive things. If you've got something physical going on in your body, I'm not doing cards today on this live stream, but I'll do let's heal ourselves and our body this way. So, all right, so Kristen has got sinus problems. So let's have a look here. Oh, look, I opened it straight up. Open it straight up here. Every time I drive past, I think of you and Megan, yeah. I love that. That was such an awesome time of life, man. I fucking loved it, eh? I fully loved that time. I feel like when I start to think about, you know, that stuff or listen to that music from that time, it like brings me back those happy feelings. Maybe that's why I've been doing it. I'm not sure. Because I've been feeling pretty happy. Okay, so Kristen, your sinus, right? I just opened straight up to this cold upper respiratory illness, and I'll check the other ones in a minute. Okay, so for cold, so upper respiratory ailments, it says too much going on at once, mental confusion, mental confusion disorder, small hurts. So I get 3 colds every winter type belief. So there's always something going on, right? I'm just going to look at the other respiratory, and then, you know, it tells you the probable cause, and then it tells you new thought patterns. So I allow my mind to relax and be at peace. How interesting. One of my things on my post-it note is relax your mind, get out of your head. Clarity and harmony are within me and around me. All is well. All is well, 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 all is well is one of the affirmations that I said, and I helped a now famous DJ back in the day. And he'd have a lot of anxiety getting on stage, and then, you know, and I just helped him. I'm like, all you need to say is like, change your mind. It's like, all is well, 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 all is well. And he got on stage and he's like, all I was saying is all is well, and it worked. And I'm like, yes, it works. All right, I'm getting there, Kristen. So this respiratory thing, I'm just looking at the respiratory. Oh, where is it? Oh, respiratory ailments. So, fear of taking in life fully, because the respiratory stuff, because the ears, the heart, and the base are connected, and the respiratory and sinus stuff is connected to the heart, because we're breathing in, yeah? And it's the middle of our face and the middle of our body is our heart. So fear of taking in life fully. So it's like, you know, feeling good enough to allow good things into your life is a message I'm getting for you there. And the other, I'm just going to look at, what did you say? I'll get to yours in a moment too, Debbie. If anyone else joining has got any physical symptoms, I'm delving into Louise Hay metaphysical stuff in tribute tonight. Sinus problems, irritation to one person, that's someone close. So I'm also getting just about having enough time for yourself there. Okay, so I'm going to look at bronchitis. So he gets bronchitis and cough on a regular basis. He coughs so much that he vomits. I wonder if his diet is part of it. Actually, no. But what does Louise say to that? So bronchitis. That's the very heart stuff, the bronchitis. So, and as we heal as a parent, our children automatically heal. So bronchitis, inflamed family environment, arguments and yelling, sometimes silent. So yeah, it's just that I'm really getting that it's a not good enough thing. Inflamed family environment, arguments and yelling. So it says, I declare peace and harmony within me and around me, all is well. Really kind of getting that it's just taking on the hurt and stuff, obviously, from the home environment, from the situation that you're in, which is very fucking normal for that thing. Just looking in, okay, I'm looking in this one too, because I love this one as well, Bronchitis. If you guys don't have these books in your bookshelf, if you're going to get any books, get these ones. There's another one too you can get. I'm sure there's more actually. Oh, there is more, but... Okay, why can't I find Bronchitis? BR... Oh, there, 130. Because I wasn't concentrating. So I couldn't find it. So... Okay, yeah, so bronchitis, so feeling too much pressure, conflict and anger in the family, which leads to irritation with the people close to you, blaming others for what you can't fix or control, needing time out and time to yourself, feeling a lack of appreciation and love, pushing people away. So that whole needing time out and time to yourself is kind of the message that I got there. Yeah. So... what did you say there? I wonder if your diet is part of it. There was something else you said though. Oh, so when you said something about the sinus problems, there was something that came to mind about that taking time out for yourself and just needing that, you know, space, like, and I'm getting it for you. Kristen, as a mother, and I know it's really hard, you know, as a single mother, and I totally get that situation, because and he's taking it on, which is normal. Our kids take our shit on just like our animals take our shit on. But when we can work on that in ourselves and, you know, fix that in ourselves, our children automatically shift, yeah? So I'd be focusing on it for you. Yeah, so that helps. Yes, I understand. I did get better since we separated. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, it does have a huge impact. All right, so if anyone else has got physical stuff, I know there's a few people jumping on live stream. I've spoken about food and, you know, and the reason... All right, so Debbie's chronic back pain and mainly in your shoulder. So the reason I'm talking about this metaphysical stuff and the food and it all kind of ties in is because when we're, you know, eating for emotional, you know, stuff, it's... you know, like we put on weight very easily when we're, you know, emotionally eating, right? And then, you know, the biggest soul food is, you know, filling yourself up with soul food and you don't even think about food, right? Because your soul is full. But when your soul is starved of the soul food that you crave, then we can be, you know, really either controlling or overeating or not eating or whatever around the food. Like there's so much stuff around food and the focus on food rather than our soul food, which when we're full in our soul food, we don't even think about food, right? We drop weight, we don't even drop weight, we stabilize our weight. It comes into balance, it comes into synergistic balance because our life and our life purpose is full, yeah? So if you've just joined, you might want to watch the start of this live stream because I spoke a lot about the food in the stuff in the start and the magical ingredient that makes you drop weight and stabilize. So when we're talking about, you know, the physical, when we're talking about physical pain, so you know, when we put on weight and, you know, there's issues with an organ or a, you know, body, so like with Debbie, I'm just about to dive into Debbie's shoulder pain, so chronic back pain, but there's mainly shoulder pain today. So when there's stuff like that, it's kind of twofold, right? So we can be eating and putting on, you know, weight and that sort of thing and trying to lose weight and we're not shifting the weight. Sure, Tabitha, because we're covering up, you know, and there's, you know, emotional pain there. And if it, you know, if there's like the shoulder or something like that, we might not have weight there, but the pain is there. And any emotional stuff that's going on is just, you know, if we're looking at our energetic field and our bubble, our aura is sitting in our body, in our aura. If we're not consciously aware of that emotional issue and we're avoiding it or whatever, we're just not conscious of it, it'll get closer and closer and closer to our body until it hits our body. And when we've got that physical pain, that's when it's like, you know, are you going to wake up now? Are you going to become conscious of what's going on with this emotional issue? And these two books are absolute gold to have in your bookshelf to help it, because you know, when you can go to the doctor and they're like, well, I don't know what's wrong with your back and I don't know what's wrong with your shoulder, and well, it could be this and it could be this, and you get all these scans done and still the doctors can't fucking tell you what's wrong. Well, this is why, yeah, because it's emotional pain. So if there's stuff going on, and I talk about this in Clearing Energy Blueprint too, because there's all these different levels. Like, yes, there's all your emotional stuff going on, which is the first kind of port of call that you go to if you've got any sort of physical pain. You're doing a coffee fast. Yeah, watch from the start for sure. And yeah, coffee fast. Isn't it interesting? There's so many people doing, because I've been doing stuff like that. I haven't been fully fasting, but I've been just drinking coffee, and I'm like, well, this is not really fasting, but it's what I feel like doing. Someone else said they're doing something. Oh yeah, doing a fast, but they're having coffee too. So a lot of it in the air, so I really had to talk about all this stuff today. Okay, so let's talk about the back pain, and I'll jump back to what I was saying too, because this is, you know, when there's this pain and we check out the emotional pain, sometimes there can be like the psychic attack as well. So, you know, and I've spoken about this before, if somebody is gossiping behind your back, or, you know, there's that, it's like energetic daggers, you know, can be thrown in you, and that's the pain that you're feeling, especially if doctors can't find what it is and all that too. So quite kind of big there, yeah. There's so many different layers, and this is my one of my passions, yeah, is helping you to see what you can't. So if I look at back pain, I'm just going to see what comes up for back. Okay, so what did you say? So back pain, chronic back pain, but mainly in your shoulder. So I'm wondering if you're still here, Debbie, because it took me ages to get to it, I'm sorry. So the back pain, there's lower, middle and upper back. So I'm curious what, like where your back pain is there. How do you protect from a psychic attack? Well, that's a bit longer than just me saying something really quickly, so I'll come back to that. But in the Clearing Energy Blueprint, I go into details about all of that. So I'll post the link in the comments about the Clearing Energy Blueprint. It's just a short online course that's got all the details, because it goes pretty deep too, yeah? But I'll get to that in a sec too. Okay, so upper back. So upper back is a lack of emotional support, feeling unloved, very heart, so arms and hands and all of that, all connected to heart chakra. Holding back love. So feeling unloved, but also holding back love, because we can open our arms to receive love, but we can also hold it away, yeah? So lack of emotional support. So I'm just going to look at shoulders as well, because shoulders are, and we might think that, you know, and we've got love around us, and I've got loving people and loving family around us, you know, but ultimately it can come from like just the walls that were built up around our heart. And if we've got those walls up, then we don't let it in. It's like the concrete walls, yeah? I didn't, oh yeah, I think I have put it on. I'm just going to check. Oh yeah, I have. Alright, so I'll post a link about the heart chakra in there too. So let's look at shoulder, because shoulders are, okay, represent our ability to carry out experiences in life joyously, because our heart is connected to our joy and happiness, right? When we're feeling loved and full, of course we're going to be happy, full in healthy ways. We make life a burden by our attitude. So shoulders is also like carrying burdens, like carrying somebody else and carrying that. And I'm also getting the message around like feeling stuck, like feeling like you don't have a choice, or feeling like you don't have any other option, and that's where it becomes a burden, yeah? Because when we are closed in our heart, well then it does become rigid and stiff, and everything's hard and just like fucking, yeah, it's negative and that, right? But when we can open our heart, feel safe to love, feel safe to let in love, and feel safe to love, because a lot of the time we're scared of loving somebody as well, because if we give them our love, well, they might leave, or they might, you know, might not, I don't know, like there's like, feels like a lot of fear there about love. I'm just going to look in this one as well, because Even though they're both metaphysical, I find as much as I love Louise Hay and her work and it changed my life, I really do resonate with this one as well. With Inna Segal's work. It's a little bit shoulders. Just going to look in this section here. Shoulders. Okay, there's a couple of pages here. So 142. Okay, there's frozen shoulder. No, next one. '87 to '88. Okay, so shoulders. Yeah, so shoulders carrying the weight of the world, holding on to too much strain, stress, and worry. Feeling insecure, unsure, frightened, overwhelmed, sad, rejected, distrustful, and discouraged, easily hurt. Droopy shoulders are indicating a lack of joy and fun, seriousness, focusing on problems rather than solutions. Yeah, so very much kind of the same kind of message I was getting after I read Louise Hay's. So, and with these books, obviously, you know, I'm just reading out the I guess the problems, but they've got the positive affirmations too. This has got the remedy as well for the shoulders, you know, and it is, you know, really getting about the heart there, just, you know, feeling sad, rejected, distrustful, frightened, unsure, which is kind of what I got the message there for you, Debbie, about, you know, feeling scared to love, feeling scared to be open, and, you know, whether you'll get that back or not, or if you're worthy of receiving it or even giving it, or feeling like, well, that person's not worthy of my love, or that sort of thing, yeah? So Tabitha says middle back or lower back. Yeah, lower back's fear as well, and also money and safety and trust. So does anyone else have any physical symptoms? I can tap into them for you. So yeah, lower back is fear of money, lack of financial support. We've got middle back, which is guilt, stuck in all that stuff back there. Get off my back is literally what it says. You know, and that's kind of like the guilt, you know, we're carrying around especially if we're changing, yeah, trust and dollars, yeah. And the guilt, you know, if we're changing patterns or stepping away from, you know, family dynamics, then we've got guilt because, oh, I don't know, like, you know, there's like that stepping away phase as well. Yeah. I don't know if I looked at back in here, actually. I just did shoulders, I think. So I don't know if that helps you, Debbie. Yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. I'll post a link in the comments to the Heart Chakra book as well that I wrote. So back. So there's so much different back stuff in here. Whoa, there's all these back. Let's see. 19 to 20. The kind of message I'm getting for you, Tabitha, is like, get off my back. Get off my back. You know, like literally get off my back. Stop fucking worrying about me. Get off my back. Yeah, it feels like that. Oh yeah, so in this book, she's got upper, middle, and lower back as well. So the possible, you know, thing is feeling unsupported, overwhelmed, under too much pressure, which is that get off my back. Upper back, again, carrying the world on your shoulders, feeling stressed and overwhelmed by all the things you have to do, lack of trust and frequent worry, fear, negativity, perfectionism, which is a sign of control and limitation, feeling unsupported by life and people around you, too much thinking. Stuck in your head, yeah? So head, shoulders, I talk about that a lot, being stuck in the head and cut off from the heart. So middle back, get off your back, yep. Middle back, stuck in the past, holding on to guilt and resentment, difficulty breathing and taking in life. So there's very anxiety, heart there as well when we talk about the middle back, because there's the front too. So emotional instability, overly sensitive to other people's beliefs, thoughts, judgments and criticisms, difficulty forgiving yourself and others for past mistakes, so holding on to the shit, too focused on what's wrong instead of what's right, yeah? Lower back, feeling insecure about how you will support yourself financially, constant worry about your survival and how you are going to pay the bills, holding on to unresolved anger from childhood, feeling like a victim, struggling, suffering, controlling, focused on limitations and negativity and why you can't do things instead of how you can. So with that lower back, very connected to base chakra. So all that stuff is base chakra, financial support, you know, very survival. So trust or fear, feeling like a victim, all of that. And the middle back with the heart there. I also got the thing that with the overly sensitive to other people's beliefs, thoughts and judgments and criticisms. Yes, it's like it's heart, but it's also solar plexus, right? If we look at the middle of our back, and that, you know, being what's the word? What did it say? Being like overly sensitive to people's thoughts, judgments, and emotions and that sort of thing is when we've got a weak solar plexus. So trust to intuition, my course is based in the solar plexus. So that's about getting your self-belief, self-worth, self-esteem, trusting in yourself, believing in yourself, and having that nice and bright and strong, because it's yellow like the sun. So it's our power center and lights us up. So when we've got a strong solar plexus, if you can imagine like the sun, then it's kind of like any negative comments or other people's beliefs get burnt by the sun before it can hit you, and you stay strong in what you believe, what you value, what's important to you. And if you're weak in these areas, well, then you're going to take them on, and that's when we get clouded in other people's judgments, and we lose ourselves when we think that they're right and we're wrong, and like, oh my God, well, what am I doing with my life, right? It's like, so really working on keeping that clear intuition and clear self. Just knocked over my microphone. Did you hear me? You've got that book, Bringing It Out. Yeah, these books are like in arm's reach to me all the time. They are my Bibles for sure. All right. So, does anyone have any more questions, comments, or anything they want to ask me, or if they would like me to pull them one of these tonight? I don't have cards, but I'm doing these ones. From the 3-box set of Louise Hay. These are beautiful affirmations. You use this book like an oracle. You open it up and oh my God, there's the prosperity one. Again, out of all these pages, I just did this before in honor of Louise Hay. I opened up one and it was this prosperity one. So I'm going to read it again. And if anyone wants me to open them a page, I'm happy to do that before I jump off live stream as a way of pulling a card. But this is how you use these ones. You'd love on Tabitha for sure. I'm just going to read this again because it's just like it's a mind. Yep, sure, Amy. It's a mind thing, you know, and just reading the whole thing, it changes your whole mindset, right? So I have inherited a great treasure, the love in my own heart. The more I share this treasure with others, the richer I become. So this is very much, so we're talking about the love, yeah, being, not feeling scared to share that, yeah. It's like, you know, it's open heart, it's the flow, it's the, you know, allowing that, the love and prosperity in. Prosperity begins with feeling good about myself. If I do not feel good about myself, I cannot really enjoy anything. My home, my car, my clothes, friends, health, and bank account are only reflections of my thoughts about myself and what I believe I deserve. No matter where I am or what is happening, I can change my thoughts and beliefs. True prosperity is never an amount of money, it's a state of mind. My mind is now open to receiving prosperity. Once a day, I stretch my arms out wide and say, I am open and receptive to all the good and abundance of the universe. Thank you, life. I always have everything I need. It's such a, I'm goosebumps saying that. I always have everything I need is like such a, my normal way of thinking. And yeah, if you didn't watch the start of this live stream, I'm not going to repeat my story again. So just, yeah, watch the start of this live stream if you haven't. I have a prosperity consciousness, yeah? All right, so Tabitha, I'm going to, it is powerful. It is very powerful. Tabitha, this one is for you. Tabitha, the family, yeah? Family. I envelop my entire family in a circle of love. Those who are living and those who are dead. I affirm wonderful, harmonious experiences that are meaningful for all of us. I feel so blessed to be part of the timeless web of unconditional love that brings us all together. Ancestors who lived before me did the best they could with the knowledge and understanding they had, and children not yet born will face new challenges and will do the best they can with the knowledge and understanding they will have. Each day I see my task more clearly, which is to simply let go of old family limitations and awaken to divine harmony. For me, family get-togethers are opportunities to practice tolerance and compassion. All living beings are part of my family. I picked the perfect family for this lifetime. I'm getting goosebumps saying this. Oh, I'm covered in goosebumps. We love you, Louise. All right, Amy, this one is for you. I've opened to the prosperity one again. Sorry, I'm reading it again. All right, Amy. I have inherited a great treasure, the love in my own heart. The more I share this treasure with others, the richer I become. Prosperity begins with feeling good about myself. If I do not feel good about myself, I cannot really enjoy anything. My home, car, clothing, friends, health, and bank account are only reflections of my own thoughts about myself and what I believe I deserve. No matter where I am or what is happening, I can change my thoughts and beliefs. True prosperity is never an amount of money, it's a state of mind. My mind is now open to receiving prosperity. Once a day, I stretch my arms out wide and say, I am open and receptive to all good and abundance in the universe. Thank you, life. I always have everything I need. I have a prosperity consciousness. All right. Yeah, we're all really meant to hear the prosperity one, definitely. All right, so Narissa. Narissa, doing. I flow with an attitude of serendipity through all kinds of experiences. There are endless ways of doing things. If I have done a great deal of work, I rejoice. If I have done very little work, I rejoice. If I have done nothing at all, I still rejoice. Whatever I do is perfect in the moment. There is nothing really that I have to do. There are things that might be best to do. However, I always have a choice. Life is an adventure, and the universe is always on my side. I flow with life easily and effortlessly. I feel good about what I do. That's for you, Narissa. All right. Hi, Kamlesh. All right. Does anyone else want one of these before I jump off the live stream? Instead of pulling cards, I'm pulling these. By the way, you can kind of do this with any book. I do it with the animal book. So, like the animal spirit guides, if I need a message, so instead of pulling a card, I'll pull one, like I'll just open to an animal. So I'm going to read the octopus. Yep, for sure, Cass. So, octopus, I just open it. I'm taking this as a, yeah, you're so welcome, Debbie. I take this as a message for everybody because I just opened the animal spirit guides to octopus. Explore the possibility of somehow working with these who are transitioning into the spirit world, so as mediumship, which is in the Clearing Energy Blueprint. It's time to take those yoga classes you've been thinking about to help your body become more flexible. Get a thorough physical, ideally from an MD who practices integrative medicine, paying particular attention to your heart and lungs. Come on. Really? Seriously, come on. A lot of heart stuff here on live stream tonight. If you're watching this live stream, heart stuff, right? I'm going to post a link to the comments, in the comments of the heart chakra book. And there's the meditations for the heart chakra as well. So I'll post them in there. Full on, hey? Use your mental agility to get whatever it is you're seeking and be I don't know how to spell that word, sound that word. Serendipitous and guarded about your objectives as you pursue it. I'm assuming that's like just be mindful about who you're sharing it with. Use your mental agility to get whatever it is you're seeking. Okay, I gotta Google that word, sorry. I gotta Google some words. All right, oh, I have a feeling it's, yeah, there we go. Serendipitous or something. Oh yeah, kept secret. Oh yeah, that's what it is. So especially because it would not be approved of. So use your mental agility to get whatever it is you're seeking and be like keep it a secret, especially because it would not be approved of, and guarded about your objective as you pursue it. Yeah, that's the word, Cass. No, it's not with an N though. It's just SURREPTITIOUS. And it means, I just googled it, it means kept secret, especially because it would not be approved of. If you read my blog today, it was a very long blog, but it was exactly about that. And a big part of people not trusting their intuition or following their life purpose or doing what they're meant to do on this life is because they don't trust themselves, and they take on other people's beliefs. And because if we've got out there ideas and things we want to do, and people don't, you know, when you share it with somebody, they don't know how you're going to do it. They're scared that they're going to lose you, or like they just can't see how they're going to do it. So they will kind of shut you down or tell you stupid or crazy or you're wrong or fucking some kind of negative response, because they just don't understand how you do it. But in your mind, you're like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it either, but I trust myself and I'm going to do it anyway. So if you've been getting messages about your life purpose, intuition, whatever it is that you're starting to create or do in your life, fucking do it. And just only speak to people who understand. So like me, or like your soul tribe, because they get it, we get it, right? But anyone else who, you know, just give it to yourself and just fucking do it anyway, right? Oh yeah, and it says you'll soon find your clairvoyant sensitivities and abilities increasing. So if you're watching this live stream, Octopus, I've just pulled that for everybody. Trust your intuition doors are reopening soon too. Well, they're kind of technically open, but we don't start until the 29th of November. And in there is all, you know, how to increase your intuition and clairvoyant abilities. So there we go. That was Octopus. Didn't know we were going to do that, but we did. All right, Cass, this one is for you. Ooh, I'm not sure if you've got children, but this has come up. Teenagers. Do you have children? If you don't, it might be your inner teenager. Let's see what it has to say. It is safe for me to grow up. Can you just tell me if you've got children? All right. It is safe for me to grow up. I love to learn, grow, and change, and I feel safe in the midst of it all. Knowing that change is a natural part of life. My personality is flexible, and it is easy for me to go with the flow. My inner being is consistent, therefore I am safe in every kind of experience. When I was a little child, I did not know what the future would bring. As I now begin to journey into adulthood, I realize that tomorrow is equally unknown and mysterious. I choose to believe that it is safe for me to grow up and take charge of my life. My first adult act is to learn to love myself unconditionally, for then I can handle whatever it is the future may bring. I feel safe as I make my journey toward adulthood. Life loves me and I am safe. All right, not that you know of. Okay, cool. Because the message I was getting for you, that this is like your inner teenager. And when it said there, you know, like as I now begin my journey into adulthood, I realize that tomorrow is especially unknown and mysterious. I choose to believe that it is safe for me to grow up and take charge of my life. So I'm curious how old you are. You don't have to share with me on the live stream if you don't want to. You can private message me about that. But when, you know, like on the lifespan chart and when I teach and trust your intuition, when we go through, yeah, you're welcome, Jarika. And if you want to check the whole live stream too, I talked about a lot of the food stuff in the start. But yeah, if you let me know, because in Trust Your Intuition, when I teach, you know, when we grow up and get into certain ages, when we, you know, reach certain ages, issues that are going on in our life, you know, if we look at the lifespan chart, it's like we can pick what was going on back then. So, you know, when you're a teenager, what was kind of going on and the similar patterns that are playing out now for you. And depending on, you know, exactly how old you are, you can pinpoint exactly, you know, how old you were back then too. So happy to talk more about that on private chat if you like. Okay, and Debbie, one for you too. So if anyone else jump on, it will be the last couple of ones that I'll do. So instead of pulling a card, I'm pulling these out of the Louise Hay book, in honor of Louise Hay. So Debbie, this is for you. Home. It's very interesting because our home is obviously our physical home, but also where our soul is housed, yeah, in our home. So, home. I am at home in my heart. Hello, there's so much heart stuff on this live stream tonight. If you just joined on, you might want to go watch it because there's a lot of fucking heart stuff going on here. Okay. I take my heart wherever I live. As I begin to love myself, I find myself providing a safe and comfortable home for myself. I begin to feel at home in my own body. My home is a reflection of my mind and what I feel I am worthy of. If my home is a disaster zone and I feel overwhelmed, then I begin cleaning in one corner of the rooms. Just like with my mind, I begin with changing one thought at a time. Eventually, the entire place will be tidy. As I work, I remind myself that I'm also cleaning the rooms of my mind. My heart is my home. My inner home and outer home are places of beauty and tranquility. I'm going to post a link to the heart chakra in the comments because so much heart stuff has come up in this live stream. So, if you've just joined, you might want to watch the live stream because in this is all about the food. Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Louise Hay. She's really impacted the planet, Hay House and all. Yes. So, with the food and filling yourself up and, you know, and even, you know, the heart and, you know, your sacral chakra, you know, like when you're following your heart, you drop the weight, you know, as we're coming down as well, right? If there's a block in our heart, you know, like I always talk about the chakras and starting from the top and coming down, rather than coming up. So when we come down and, you know, we move from throat and then we move into the heart, if there's blockages in the heart, then we're going to like hold weight from our waist down, yeah, because our soul was not properly incarnated in our body, and so we're kind of packing on the weight, or it's a bit I don't know if the word's unconscious, or it's not housed properly, so it can't stabilize, yeah, because our soul is what stabilizes our entire body system. So if we're not in our body properly and you know, having the correct soul food to fill us up, well, then we are going to be empty. And that's why, you know, if we've got a block here, we'll physically be trying to fill it up and it doesn't work, right? So housing your soul in your body is your keys, you know, to being able to lose, you know, the weight. It's the magical ingredient. So I will post a link in the comments to Calling in Your Soulmate, because with Calling in Your Soulmate, it's based in the sacral chakra. It is about calling in your soulmate specifically, but it's the art of sacred manifestation, and it's the relationship that you have with yourself and filling yourself and allowing your soul to house in your body, because if your soul's not housed in your body, well then everything that I just said. So I'll post a link in the comments to that from this live stream, and the messages I've been getting today is that I'm going to include a bonus for Calling in Your Soulmate, which is, you know, exactly about food, fasting, you know, body, weight, diet, exercise, you know, getting the body that you want, losing the body fat, the belly fat, all that sort of thing will be the bonus module in Calling in Your Soulmate now, because it's so important, because it's sacral chakra. It's, you know, where we're nourished at our being, and if our soul isn't being nourished, and we are going to put the physical weight on, and how do we balance that and how do we fix that, and right? So I'll post a link to Calling in Your Soulmate in the comments. We start on the 21st of September, so you want to get in for the early bird before it closes, and I'll post a link to the heart chakra as well in the comments, because if you just joined the live stream, you might want to go and rewatch, because there's so much heart stuff that come up as well in this, which makes sense, because if our heart's empty, we're going to be trying to fill it up with food and all sorts of jazz. So post the link in the comments to that too for you. So it is only another 4 hours as well to get your half price tarot reading before that closes at midnight. So I'll post a link in the comments to that. So if you want like one-on-one specific help about how to, you know, maintain your weight or lose weight or help with anything like that right now from a soul point perspective, and tuning into what your specific soul food is, I can help you do that through a psychic tarot reading as well. So there's only another 4 hours to get that half price before midnight tonight. So I'll post those links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me live. Rest in peace, Louise Hay. We are very grateful for your presence on this live, and I just got goosebumps saying that, so thank you very much, Louise. Lots of love. Keep it really real. Namaste.